Somewhat. The funny part, I'm not going to use the big camera. It's just my setup whenever I'm chasing police cars. I hook up that bottom, and I'm able to all the way to the left. It has like a 300 large zoom.
Wow. So that's not a camera then. That is
Morning,
just
everybody.
That's a camcorder.
Quick video up here on the screens for you guys before everybody gets started. On behalf of Polk Auction, thank you all for being here, and I hope you have a great day.
Oh, I am buffering like crazy.
Absolutely nothing to do with this whole effort. I'm proud of it. Me and my partners, we own this property, we own the venue and the facility, but we strongly believe in what we're all here making our announcement, making ourselves heard, and we're all on board with it. Sadly, we don't have the time or maybe the wherewithal to keep up with the convoy, but clearly we're 100% behind it, and proud to be at least a place to give you a rally spot and to kick you on, send you on to DC from here. As far as hosting goes, this is it. I'm going to step away. I'm going to let all the people here with the Freedom Convoy go ahead and run the rest of the show. Enjoy yourself. Be proud. Clearly, we're as patriotic. We sell tractors, we sell construction equipment, we sell guns, so we strongly align with everything here we're all fighting for. A lot of these flags, we didn't hang these up just for you guys. We keep these and fly them. We actually play the video you just saw before every one of our events. So we're glad to have you. I'm glad to have you, and I'm going to step away. You guys, if you would please, and I'm really proud of all of our efforts. Just be respectful. We do have other people's tractors here and some stuff, and I appreciate everyone kind of giving that a wide berth, giving it some space. Enjoy yourself, and let's all celebrate the freedoms we're fighting for.
not a singer, I'm a drummer, so I'll start it off and then I'll kind of just lip sync, maybe. I don't know. So, you ready? Oh! Dear Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise on this day, allowing us to be here together for our freedom fighters, because we need to give these truckers and all the convoy a big morale boost and send them on down to Washington, D.C., and please protect them and protect all of us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Amen. I'm not a trucker, but I am a blue-collar guy, and I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, racer's son, and I took a 10-year break from racing, and then last year I bought a race car, went racing, but I put my racing plans on hold because I believe in this movement. This movement has given me hope that a bunch of people that think like me, that we're standing up finally, it's taken a long time, but we're doing it, So I thank everybody that's joined together and everybody's so united. And it's just a wonderful feeling. The most patriotic experience I ever had was in early March, Monrovia, Indiana, when the convoy rolled up that exit ramp. I was standing there with my flag with my 15-year-old daughter, man, and I got tears in my eyes and goosebumps. And it's given me so much hope. And all I can say is USA! I'd like to bring my friend Bob Hayden. I've known him for a long time. I own a welding business that I operate by myself and, with a part-time helper. And I've known Bob. He worked for quite a number of years at the welding supply store. So Bob was in Hagerstown for a week. He rolled out of Monrovia, Indiana, Convoy, and spent a week in Hagerstown. So Bob.
Amazing, guys. Sorry, this is only like the third time I've spoken in front of any kind of crowd of people. I've never been at all these rallies and stuff. Does anybody see God up in this building? Amen. Just today, Brent, where are you, brother? I just met a guy a few minutes ago named Brent and talked for about an hour. This is amazing. This is amazing. Anyway, I didn't plan to come up here and didn't know what I was going to say. I did roll out to Hagerstown from Monrovia, Indiana. Spent a week there, kind of stayed to myself, met a couple people. When I left there, after we ran that beltway on that Thursday, I think it was, that second week, the convoy went back to the racetrack and I went home. And my heart was ripped out. And I get a call from, was it where's Santa? Get a call from Santa saying he's going to organize Indiana and needs some help. I knew. I knew then God had another plan. Being here in front of all you guys, all the big dogs, Trucker G, Santa, all you guys, man, this is amazing. And man, like Danny said, I work for a welding supply business in downtown Indy for 26 years. I just quit my job 2 weeks ago on Friday, and I'm rolling to DC back with you guys. So. Yeah. All my friends back home and family think I'm crazy for them, but you guys are my family.
You'll fit in when they think we're crazy too.
Man, I don't know what else to say, guys. I just know I'm here, and if anybody needs anything welded, I got all my welding equipment in my truck. If anything breaks, we can probably fix it. I've got a few tools. I left most of my stuff at home, but if anybody needs a hand mechanically, I can help. So, thank you. I just know, man, God's got this. I've seen so many God stories. I'm telling you, every day. I don't even know where to begin on those. So, anyway, my name's Bob Hayden. I live about 3 hours west or south of here. 54 years old. I've cried more in the last 3 months than I have my whole life. So, bring it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How you doing? Mom told me to go on to Monrovia. I went to Monrovia. I lost all faith in humanity. I got there, got out of my truck. The tears just came. I thought there wasn't people like that. People who wanted to stand up for the country. There you go. And get our country back, get our freedom back. So I got home. I prayed, what am I here for? What are you going to use me for? Someone reached out to me the next day to start a group. I started Indiana Fighting for Freedom.
Yeah.
That's how I met Danny. We hit it off. And the group took off running. And the next thing I knew, I was asked to be a part of the People's Convoy official Indiana group, and I said yes.
Yeah.
So I'm still running my group, and I'm still helping with the People's Convoy. Just, a lot. We've held many rallies. We had one in Camden and protest in Indianapolis. That turned out pretty good. We went to Michigan at Ann Arbor. Yeah. We protested South Sudan. I'm not a hateful man. I don't really hate too many people, but I can't stand the ground Bruce walks on.
death and, you know, the indoctrination from the evil that we're up against, you know. I had a young woman that was walking her dog while we parked on a side street, because what we did is we kind of went in an L direction, going down two sides of the stadium on Stadium Drive. But this woman, her dog stopped to take a dump on a lawn, and she said, "This is for you." And then she stood there and said, "I'm having an abortion right now because of you people." So whatever put that in her head, you know, that's just, man. Like we talked about with Indians' plan to drive Convoy and park in small towns and then park at the county courthouses so we could spread the awareness of our movement. We go to Washington last night.
When they asked me to share my story, I told them no. Yeah. I didn't want the streamers here to hear this to go national. It's really personal. But my daughter said to me, "Mom, it's okay. If it helps one person and saves one more life, it's worth it."
That's right.
Wow.
Amen. She attempted to take hers. And then we got hit with this. And she was inpatient and you couldn't visit. And it only made things worse. And let me tell you, when your child is stays away and she breaks free because she wants to come home and they put her back, it's not right what they've done to our kids. They have secluded them. They have taken them from us. And let me tell you, to keep her, I had to sign papers that if she attempted again, I could be jailed. I didn't do it. She chose what she did, and it wasn't from anything at home. It was from bullying. But because of more than one attempt, more than one, is all it took for me to bring her home, I had to sign the paper. That's it. Until she's 18 and she tries again, I can be jailed. So when they lock your kids down and seclude them and take your freedoms, they are destroying them. You think it's just a mask. You think it's just one little thing. She's almost 18. Her anxiety is out of this world now because of what they did. That I cannot get back. And she's not here today because she cannot handle the group yet. But it's only because of her am I sharing my story. We've always tried to teach our kids and to try to wake people up. But I'm telling you, you have to stand, and you have to stand and fight now. Or our kids will have nothing. Your grandkids will have nothing. I'm serious.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
What they're doing to our kids is just wrong.
That's right.
Totally wrong. I just can't believe the evil that's approached and become a part of our society. How did we let it happen? How did it come to this? sooner, but we're doing it now. We are doing it now. So, Kerry Poole, would you like to come up and say a few words? Don't have a choice, brother. I just recently met Kerry, and he's an awesome guy.
I want to thank him here. They got good audio out there.
They
They can
hear
hear
you?
well. Yeah, they can hear well.
Awesome.
I can hear you well out there, but I was kind of struggling over there. Okay.
Well, here's our patriot brother, Kerry Poole.
My name's Gary Poole from Southern Indiana, and I had been asked to speak here. However, and I was like, okay, but I was asked to bring a new word that had not been spoken at the Convoy before. To bring something new. We got something new for you. I was asked to come up with a new word, and I didn't. But a new word was given to me. But I want to speak to something that y'all experience every day. You kind of spoke to. But just before we get to the new word, is roller coaster. You know the last couple of years how we've been on this roller coaster. And we got all pumped up, people got pumped up on elections, and we go through these roller coasters and what's going on in our world, and then now the Convoy has been a microcosm of that. You know, we saw in Canada how we all got pumped up, and then we saw how the police came in and just you down. Then we saw the People's Convoy come from California headed across the United States, and we're like, yeah, we're up, we're going up. Get to Hagerstown, go around, and they had you locked out. They had the exits blocked. Wouldn't let you off. You know, and like Saznak said, we were citizens of the country. Y'all citizens of the country weren't allowed down to where your government's at to speak. And we were home watching it. We're down, and we're like, wow, is this worth it? You know, is it worth it? It's just been just this roller coaster. You know, and everybody's experienced roller coasters. You experience them in your life. And so we know the roller coasters, and you come into a greeting like you had yesterday. I mean, it was so loud we couldn't even speak. And you know the mood of hospitality that was put on you. Where's the people? Where's the convoy that's 1,000 miles long? Where's the 1%? Where's the million that's going? And you know, you start questioning if it's worth it or something. So I just want to talk a little bit. The new word is righteous anger. It was given to me in a sermon Wednesday. So I'm going to speak to it in reference to Department of Defense. Okay, everyone out here has known people, be they in the transportation industry, the medical industry, IT industry, that have lost their jobs because of mandates. They did not get compliant with mandates and lost their jobs. We've all known that. But I'm speaking about the Department of Defense. Okay, I was born on a Navy base, raised in a military family. Father died in the military. All I've ever done is the Department of Defense. Okay, and the Department of Defense goes through these roller coasters. Okay, so in the Department of Defense, you got military and you got civilians. You got civilians back here in the United States that are all in, giving their heart and soul to support the warfighter. We got civilians who deploy with the warfighters and go over and support systems that are so new, we don't even have schools set up to train the troops. Okay? So the Department of Defense, back when the mandates, we come with the lockdown, and then we come with, okay, the mandates. And we're choosing our words for live stream so we don't get strikes and get taken off. But we had mandates, and we had people who, you know, when it first started on that roller coaster, and we were hearing Spanish flu and millions of people dying, we were afraid and had this fear and did the lockdowns, and we had a little bit of time to start researching and start asking questions. Well, I'm not so sure that I want to be compliant with this mandate this time, but it didn't matter. In the active duty military, they come in the active duty military and said, if you don't get compliant with the mandate, then you're going to get punished. You're going to get dishonorable discharge. You're going to get kicked out of the service. And I would see case after case. I'd be on conference calls. So this is the Navy base here in Indiana doesn't have a lot of military there. It's mostly civilians, but we're on the phone with them, and where our big source of information for military was on con calls I was doing at Liberty Counsel. Liberty Counsel is a law or a nonprofit organization that's representing people's freedoms in the Supreme Court. They've already been up to the Supreme Court quite a bit since this has all come up. But listen to their con calls, and there would be military people, male, female, that had been in the service 18, 19 years. 18, 19 years in the military is tough, especially when you get deployed to Afghanistan, Iraq. They could be Navy SEALs, they could be a commanding officer of a ship, they could be a pilot. But a lot of them are just on the ground, door to door, Marines going down the streets, military out dodging bullets, Navy SEALs, award-winning medal winners. They were heroes. Then all of a sudden, boom, they're zeros. They're having their pay taken away from them. They're getting dishonorably discharged. They don't get any veterans benefits. They could have been in the service 19 years or 20 years. They could retire on a decent retirement and yanked from them. Just absolutely ranked, just yanked from them. And you know that's not right. Just like Patty was talking about. This isn't right for our children. It's interesting to see how a mom is speaking different than a dad or a grandfather. Because I've seen this with the military. Just feel like they're getting bullied on, and they're getting picked on. You know, they're the government's so powerful, just hammering on those military folks. So our military is devastating morale to have this, because if you were compliant and you had a buddy that you just absolutely loved and you respected, and you see him get kicked out, you know he's got a wife and he's got 4 kids, man, it disturbs your spirit and your morale. And the number one factor on a high performance team is morale. So that's what we're talking about, the morale and this ups and downs, and how do we get motivated. So I'm in contact with civil service civilians. That's who I work with. And they come in and say the same thing. You're not compliant, you're getting fired. We'll send you to class to re-educate you, we'll reprogram you, and then you get compliant or you're out of here. And so that's really different for a grandfather who's about got 1 foot out of the door, go to retirement anyway. I saw with my own eyes young people working for the military, that were civil service, that were all in, doing their best, male and female, who got to looking, got to studying. I'm not sure, I don't want to get this. I don't want to be compliant right now. I want my freedom. And they said, no, you're going to be out. So we had a mass exodus of folks more like my age who when they had retired. But the folks that were in their 20s and 30s and they got kids, and all of a sudden they got 4 or 5 kids, and they just bought this bigger house so their kids wouldn't have to share bedrooms, and they'd have a nice yard. And then the van went out, they got a new van. And they got braces on their kids, teeth braces on their teeth. And I've seen some of these young men just have their head down on a table. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this compliant, take these steps. But I don't want to just take away from all this from my wife and my kids. And so they would go be compliant. But they had been coerced. They had been forced. They had been like bullied. And the way it goes, you know, we've heard the words, enough is enough. They work for us. We've heard words that just ring with us and stay with us and get us going. But you saw it there. You saw it there with Patty. You've seen it with Santa talking. You go into these situations. It's like you're going into a game where the dealer's got the cards marked, the deck stacked, and the odds are all against you. You know, you're at the table and you're just absolutely overwhelmed, and you get this righteous anger. Righteous anger. It makes you mad when you see these young kids, these young men, these young women being forced to do this or leaving a great job. So this is for the truckers and the people that are driving the Convoy, for all of us, for everyone that's out on the live stream. You get to wonder, well, is this worth it? Is this worth it? Why am I doing it? Are we making a difference? You can get down. Just think about what they've done to our military. Think about what they've done to our civil service population that supports the military. Morale all-time low, efficiency down, military getting stepped on. It makes you mad. And that righteous anger, and you're like at the table, and you feel like you're with a den of thieves, and you want to turn the table over, maybe run some folks out. We're talking righteous anger, and like Sam and y'all have been saying, we're looking for this peaceful, to awaken the population, to try to do this peacefully, and to make a positive change. When you're down, think about what they're doing to people. Use that righteous anger for motivation, because it kind of gets you going, gets you really going, gets you thinking. And it's a motivating factor. Righteous anger. Folks that are looking at, if you search on the internet on righteous anger, you'll see it demonstrated in the Bible. So I'm going to say thank you for everyone that's being here. I thank you for the Indiana folks that are putting the love on y'all. I thank you for what all you're doing. One more thing. So I was sitting out in the parking lot this morning and write the little
Our organization was founded in 2020 after I watched all of the issues with the measles outbreak and the way that they were mandating things and selectively providing care. It woke me up. We quit administering pokies to our kids a long time ago, probably 8 years ago, and I am a registered nurse. I have a master's degree in nursing. I'm a very intelligent person. I've done the research over and over and over again, and we have decided that it's not right for our family. So on this journey, it's been one of those things where I didn't want to do this. I have terrible social anxiety. I don't like being in front of a lot of people. You can imagine that I was a nervous wreck on the car ride over here. But it's painful. How many of you have experienced that, where God has asked you in our country, that has been happening for it used to irritate me when my husband would watch them, and I may or may not have threatened him about it, but I woke up and realized I can make change. If I didn't say that we are up against giants, right? But I don't think God's going to strike down giants. God didn't strike down Goliath, did he? No. He gave David the skills he needed to take Goliath out. God has given each of us our own skills that we can use to contribute to this mission. Help me, and God's looking at us like, honey, I taught you how to speak to others, didn't I? Oh, you can do media and graphics? Oh yeah, I gave you that gift, didn't I? So we have to tap into our own gifts that God has given us. And it's easy to say, well, I think you probably can. Can you have a conversation? Can you go to your neighbor and share? They created. So recently, there's been a lot of distractions. And I think that's part of some of the frustration for all of you guys that are in this convoy, because there's stuff taking away from you, right? Change your game plan. Maybe that's not going to be a popular thing to say, but obviously God meant for me to say it because this is not in my notes. Change, please don't egg me. Change your game plan. If you're not getting anywhere with what you're doing, it's time to reevaluate, to look at the approach that you're taking. If you want somebody to talk through that with you, call me up. So do we need to spend time on that? We need to watch it. We need to make sure it doesn't go any further. We need to make sure those AGs stand by their word and do what they're saying that they're going to do. That's called accountability. And I believe that's biblical too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we watch that, but do we need to fret and worry about it? Do we need to make a big stink about it? No. They know we're watching, they know we're acting, and they know we've started to learn how our government works. Check. Let's move on. We've seen about, this part is in my notes. We've seen about in the EU, this is something I do want to warn you guys out, and I want you to be listening and watching, because the CDC paid millions of dollars to track phones during the pandemic to make sure that people were abiding by the restrictions, right? So they're putting into place these things for like the green pass over in other countries. And so we have to be watching, and we have to be learning, and we have to be investigating these things. One thing that I see on the horizon is a distraction. One of the big concerns is the treatment of children recently, right? We've seen the way that they are poorly treated. And I'm trying to avoid any keywords so you can fill in the blanks. But in the EU, they are starting to monitor private messaging apps to monitor for child abuse. So they're using these sneaky ways to get in and usurp your liberties. We have to be monitoring for this. I'm not saying go freak out and say that this is happening in the US, but we need to be mindful as these distractions are coming up. The next thing is the international treaty. US has not signed on to that. It's a big thing. It's scary. It makes me worry that they're going to try to push in this global agenda. We can't have that, right? So what do we do? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. What do we do about these things? How can we stop this? Is there anyone in this room that can go stop that treaty? I don't think so. We watch and we monitor and we continue to do the things that we're doing at home. The next thing that's a really big issue is the International Regulations Commission amendments. There's like 5 different amendments, and it's talking about increasing the WHO's ability. And this was presented by our own government, by the HHS, Health and Human Services, presented this globalist agenda to the WHO. Does this scare the daylights out of me? Absolutely, absolutely. When you look at these amendments, they look like good things because they're in response to what happened in that city over across the pond. You know what I'm talking about? Where that whole thing started. Yeah. This is in response to that. And in some perspectives, I could see how these amendments would be a good thing because they increase the time at which people are required to report health issues. It increases the response time. So logically, one would think, oh, this is a good thing. The problem is that some of these demands are unrealistic. And it also opens up the door for abuse of power and coercion in other countries. And so we definitely don't want these happening. But again, are we going to be able to change that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. What is the best way that we have seen to change things with the requirements that we've seen? Local action in your hometown, talking to others, pushing back against local politicians, getting your counties to say enough.
Good word.
Right? Enough. Your counties step up. They hold the most power. You want to know who the most power is in your county? Your sheriff. Get in touch with your sheriff. Make a relationship there. Let him know that this relationship is Old Testament, as I like to say. It is righteous anger. You do right, I'm going to leave you alone. You don't? Then the fun starts. I'm not going to tolerate abuse of power. I'm not going to accept neglect of our citizens. That is why we are here. Hoosiers for Medical Liberty is no compromise. We've been working in the state legislature for the past 2 years. I'm not going to lie, pretty much nonstop to get them to make change. But as some of you may recognize, it's falling on deaf ears. It's like they hear us, but it just kind of floats in one side and drifts out the other. This is why it's so important to plug into your local groups. We change it locally. The real thing I am worried about here in Indiana, and this is probably happening in your state if you are outside of Indiana, is the way that the CDC is talking about restructuring their organization. And the whole point of this is to increase their presence at the local level. Do you want the CDC, you think about the recommendations that they've been making, do you want the CDC controlling your local area? No. My guess is that a lot of you are from more conservative areas. If the CDC has their way and they centralize these health departments, your normal people might not have the power to make those rulings. It's going to come from the CDC. It's going to come from in Indianapolis, and then that is going to be forced out, okay? This is a huge problem. This is what we need to be sharing in our local communities and going out to the people that live in our communities and are on the health board and your county commissioners. They're the ones that hold the power. And as you start to understand government a little bit better, you'll understand they have the ability. And if they don't do it, guess what? You replace them. Because that's what it takes. And that has been happening all over Indiana. So Governor Holcomb has his Public Health Commission, and they're sending somebody up from the CDC to help take care of that. What do you think that means for Indiana? Not good. Not good. So plug in to your local groups. If you're in Indiana, I want you to pull out your phone real quick. I'm going to connect you with Hoosiers for Medical Liberty. You're going to open up your texting app, and you're going to send us the word convoy, okay? So you're going to text the number 260-286-0988. And again, that's 260-286-0988. That's going to get you connected to our calls to action. We have a website full of resources where you can learn about your right to an exemption. We have calls to action when there's legislative stuff coming up. We are working on many different areas and we need volunteers. So part of my message today is calling out and reaching out. Please help us pull those people into our organization so we can be even more effective and more dangerous with this political class who thinks they get to rule over your mind, body, and spirit, because that's what they're coming after. They want it all. 260-50, don't want to give you that number. 260-286-0988, the word convoy. It's in your hands. You can do this because God said so. Wow. So get out and move. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley, for that great message, and we thank Hoosiers for Medical Liberty, and we're very grateful for her to join us today, and we're grateful for our next speaker, who this is his second time joining us. We convoyed to the state capitol in Indianapolis, and Pastor John Schrock, he's with the John Birch Society, joined us on April 30th when we did that day where most states rallied and protested at their state capitol. So I'll let John come up here and explain what the John Birch Society is all about and listen to his message. So welcome, John.
Good afternoon, Indiana. Let's see here. Can you hear me? Perfect. No, it sounds like a Biden rally. Can you hear me? Number 7, the Bible says, "The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him." How many of you would say that right now our country is in trouble? There's something not right. When we think about that problem, we think about that trouble. It didn't start in 2020. That may be when we saw it come to full fruition. We saw an election get stolen. We saw a pandemic come about. How many of you think that COVID just This kind of pushed just a little bit too far. You're like, it was a disease, but they went and grabbed a lot of my liberties. Is that you? I'm glad amongst a bunch of friends, because according to the national government, you all are a bunch of domestic terrorists because you believe that COVID wasn't real. But one of the things that I want you to think about is the power of what you can do. Back in 1800s in Switzerland County, Indiana, an Indiana farmer was almost done with his day of plowing, and a friend came by and reminded him that he needed to go and vote. He left his plow, he left his horse with the friend, and he ran into town, and he was mere minutes before the polls closed, and he went and cast a vote. His vote was the one vote that was necessary in order to elect a state senator. That state senator in the coming years was the one vote necessary to go and to elect when there was a retirement of a senator from Indiana, and then Senator Hannigan was elected by that one state senator by one vote. It was Senator Hannigan that went then and cast the deciding vote to make Texas to be a state in the United States. The power of Indiana, one person getting involved, you becoming involved, you trusting in God in a day of trouble, you going to the Lord in prayer, you going and being activated, as Ashley was talking about so eloquently. It is up to you. All of us would say we want less government. We want to be left alone. But if we want left alone, if we want less government, we must take the responsibility that comes with it. Here in 2023, when 2023 legislative session comes up, we're already forecasting of what's going to be happening in the Indiana State Legislature. As Ashley said, was that your sheriff is a very important position. Would it shock you if I were to tell you that the state of Indiana is looking at making the sheriff's office an appointed position instead of an elected position? So the responsibility, they're more than looking at it. They've already taken it to conference, they've already done the survey, and they're trying to plant the seeds throughout the counties here in the state of Indiana, the 92 counties, in order to take away your constitutional sheriff. The power of that position is absolutely immense. If you don't stand up for your sheriff, shame on you, and go become a used car salesman. Don't call yourself a patriot. Hit the road, Jack, and don't come back. Because that position is what is standing between us and the coming tyranny. The preamble of the Constitution goes this way. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. All men are created equal. Back in Sunday school days, we used to sing the song, red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in His sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. We talk about racial equality while they're trying to actually divide us. They're trying to pit whites versus blacks. When we actually go back to it, Noah and Adam, there's kind of a funnel point right there, and all of us are of one race. But I also want to point out about the equality of a person. You say, I'm not going to get up there behind the desk and speak to hundreds of people on a Saturday afternoon. You're not going to find me in order to do a rallying speech. I don't know that I can get involved down at the State House when the legislative session comes, but you have power, because according to the Indiana Constitution, the power is inherent in the people. All of you raise your right hand. Y'all the people. The power is inherent in you. You're the one that's going to have to make a difference. This is where it gets a little sticky. For those of us that are joining us today on live stream, for the NSA that's listening in on our cell phones, It says, according to our Constitution, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Yeah. If you say no, it means no! Yeah. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, and the ends are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. I want to take you on a history tour just really quickly. In May of 1865, actually today, May 14th, 1865. Battle of Palmetto Ranch near Brownsville, Texas. It's the final engagement of the American Civil War. And there was a private there, John Jefferson Williams. And he laid down his life for what we are doing right now. The ability to speak out. The ability tomorrow on a Sunday, if that's the day that you choose to worship God, you have that ability to do it in peace. He laid down his life for that. What's more interesting is he was the last death of the Civil War. Maybe even more interesting, he was a young man from Red Key, Indiana, there in Jay County, just northeast of Muncie. There's a lot of evil that has come out of Indiana. If you're not familiar with the Kinsey Institute, please go to theradicalpulpit.com, RADICALPULPIT, radicalpulpit.com, and you will find some facts that you will wish you did not know. They molested children for 24 hours to find out how many O's that they could have. A 4-year-old for 24 hours. That is despicable and debauchery. But can I tell you, I sense among us today, there's men and women. There's some that have shirts. I pointed out to it. I was standing over there for a few minutes and I saw a man with a shirt with Trump on it. It said one for Biden, one for Kamala. Yeah. Thought it was kind of interesting. Nice shirt. Then I saw some hats, Make America Great Again. What we need is more John Jefferson Williams. A nondescript individual, if you wouldn't have known him if I hadn't brought his name up to you. And you're a nondescript individual, very possibly. But you can make the difference. Yeah. You being involved, you starting a chapter of the John Birch Society and meeting on a monthly basis in order to become informed, you knowing about what's happening inside of the State House of Indiana. How many of you knew that they spent $500,000 to unseat a fellow Republican? How many of you knew that? Indiana House Republicans funded $500,000 to unseat arguably the most constitutional, one of the two most constitutional state reps in the history of Indiana. They both invested against John Jacobs. That was funded by the Speaker of the House because he's frustrated that they're holding him accountable. That's just another representative. Can you imagine if all of us show up down at the State House and we say, no, we're done. This is our country, this is our state, this is our America. Thank you so much.
John, for that great message, man. Thank you for joining us again. Next up, I'd like to bring up Miss Gina and Jared Lancaster. They got some words to say. So they're some good patriots. So I'm sure what they have to say will be quite interesting. So welcome Miss Gina and Jared Lancaster.
appreciate you. Honestly, I didn't know that I was going to be up here until last minute yesterday, I'm not going to lie. So I didn't really have any time to prepare anything, so I'm sorry if it's kind of out of whack. But Jared and I was asked to introduce Jared. Jared and I met each other at the beginning of this. Originally, we started out on all of the Telegram pages together with the People's Convoy. We believed in this movement 100%. Unfortunately, that platform failed us. And we left ourselves thinking, what are we gonna do from here? We've got all of these people that we know love our country and are willing to stand up. This is about our children. It's about their futures. Here we are fighting for it because that's what we're trying to secure, right? So I'm not gonna let this die and keep thinking, how are we gonna save this? Somebody said go to Bigfoot. I was like, oh no. That's gonna be bad. Within 48 hours, our numbers started climbing. It was ridiculous. As many people said that they don't do Facebook anymore. Then 48 hours, 2.5 thousand stopped growing. Did you know that that's where the numbers stop and they don't have to share your platform for interested people anymore? Numbers never moved after that. Anyway, the point to all of this is I've been in healthcare for over 22 years. When the mandates started coming down, I led a protest out of the company that I worked for, and I took 15 healthcare employees off the floor. We decided we weren't going to take this. And then they started coming after our children and talking about masks in school and, vaccines for school, and it just kept growing and growing. We started hearing these stories about people on transplant lists and what have you, having to have these vaccines. Well, for what? Well, what do we know so far that has actually been released by that? There's two number one side effects: blood clots and heart conditions, right? Again, where I'm going with this is how I met this man, Jared Lancaster, and he has been instrumental in this fight with us. We rolled out about a week after Peoples did, and Peoples welcomed us into their home with open arms. That says a lot. It's gonna take each and every one of us to secure our children's future. Jared was the first one in the parking lot at that truck stop. As soon as I pulled in, opened my door for me, reached out, grabbed my hand, and then grabbed his other hand around my back and said, thank you. Looked me straight in the eyes, never met me before, and said, thank you. Thank you for being willing to do this, and thank you for going all the way. Now I'm gonna let him share his story with you, but I just want y'all to know that unity is what's needed for this. We need each and every person to stand up and fight for our children. Pack your bags, it doesn't matter what's in it. Follow this convoy to DC and come help us stop this.
Thank you, Gina. Again, my name is Jared Lancaster. I'm from right here in Northeast Indiana. I do have a story to tell, but actually before I tell my story, everybody that is here with the People's Convoy, all of these organizers, these people are your voice. We need lions. And a lion is not sitting at home on your sofa and clicking the share button. It is getting up, starting the grassroots movement, and doing something to stop this. These gentlemen out here in this convoy, these people are leaders of lions. They are going to lead the pride. Follow them, listen to them. They are leaders. And thank you each and every one of you. They need a round of applause. preaching about unity, but we really don't hear many of the stories of unity. So again, I was one of the originators of the American Freedom Convoy, and there was always seemed to be a rift that people wanted to portray. But I had somebody, and the story that I'm going to give you is about one of my granddaughters. That I had somebody from North Carolina, she lives below the Mason-Dixon line, that heard my granddaughter's story, and they were from the People's Convoy. They heard my granddaughter's story, they reached out to me, and they dedicated an entire convoy to my granddaughter from Charlotte, North Carolina, to the Capitol for my granddaughter. If that does not speak to unity, I don't know what does. So thank you to everybody from the People's Convoy. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. So yesterday my youngest granddaughter turned 1 year old. Today is her first birthday party. And I felt that it was more important for me to be here to speak, to tell my story, because what better present could I give her than freedom? So, my other granddaughter that I'm going to speak to, she lives south of the Mason-Dixon line. I'm not going to say exactly where. At the age of 4, she had to have a heart transplant. And when all this COVID started, we had done our research on this, what's called a shot. And we referred to the CDC website in some of our research, and we referred to other organizations. And we was beginning to learn how this worked and what some of the side effects of this were. Myocarditis. For this to take effect, it has to lower your immune system. And here is a child that has already had a heart transplant. And that heart is frail to begin with. She is on anti-rejection medication, which lowers your immune system. And she goes in for an appointment, and they advise she's in high risk and she should be vaccinated. Our daughter called us, talked to her about it, and she went back and she said, no, absolutely not. And then people were informed that if you don't submit to this, you may not be eligible to go back on a transplant list if you would have to have another transplant. Has anybody ever seen the movie The Green Mile? Remember that part where he's talking about, he says he killed them with their love. He killed them with their love. Well, folks, that is exactly what is happening now. They have taken our children and our grandchildren hostage. And they are holding them hostage so we will not raise our voice. And we cannot let it happen. Right. We must stand together, we must hold the line, we must push forward. In closing, I am just going to tell, oh wait, I do have one other thing. Wednesday, we got another phone call. And our granddaughter was, had put in for Make-A-Wish Foundation. And she was hoping to go on a, like a wagon train type trip out into Yellowstone. And she was just informed Wednesday that that was pulled because the Make-A-Wish Foundation has a policy that if you are not vaccinated, you cannot fly. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Make-A-Wish Foundation is all all bad necessarily, but I am going to tell you that that our government is using these non-for-profits
Yes.
to hold us hostage as well. So investigate who you are donating to. And don't just do it blindly, out of the love of your child. Find another way to donate, either directly to them or something else. But do your investigations. In closing, I just want to say one more time, folks. Two different things. Get off your sofa. Stop just clicking share. Be a voice, be a lion, do it with integrity, and be a leader that you would want to follow into this battle. Thank you very much for all of your time. Thank you to People's Convoy for everything that you are doing. You have been the voice of my granddaughter, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you and everybody else for giving her a voice.
So thank you, Jared, and thank you, Gina. I'd like to give a shout out to Sherry that organized all our entertainment today. I'd like to get Bob over here to say a few more words, and then we want our truckers to come up here. So the truckers got it started, so let's hear it for the truckers.
Alright guys, one more thing. Anybody want to hear a few little God stories real quick? I'm going to tell you something. It's not after I finish, definitely. I just got to say a few more things. First, I want to thank the people behind the scenes that's been helping us out that could not be here today. There's a gentleman named Rick Fiskus. That man, he's had some issues, battling cancer and things. I think he's 68 years old. He can't drive very far and get out and about much, but man, that man has, whenever we've had our rallies and things, that man's reached out to every single politician he can find, every single news station, radio station, trying to get them to come speak to us and cover what we're doing in a positive way. But they never show. We've had a few good politicians that come speak. We like to call them statesmen. Politicians need to go. Okay, so like I said, I went to Hagerstown, all that, went home, got a call from Santa, decided to help him out, working on this, getting people a little organized. I was at work one day and I heard we were going to have a rally in Indianapolis. Actually, we were going to do a convoy from the rally in Canby, Indiana. And then I heard there was going to be a rally on the same day in Indianapolis. So I started trying to reach out and find out who was organizing that and make contact with them and see if we could kind of work together. Because we were trying to decide whether we were going to be able to take the convoy downtown Indy around the Capitol. Well, I found out I needed to speak to a guy named James Wood, which this gentleman right here, I'd never met before in my life. I called him from work. We had about a 20-minute conversation on the phone, decided what we were going to do to work together. About 20 minutes later, this man, Danny, walks into my work as a customer, and I start telling him what we're doing, and he says, well, I'm working with James in this Indiana Fighting for Freedom.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and so within about half an hour time frame, that's when we came together and started working together, put our heads together. Crazy. So anyway, then we did that rally. It was awesome. We got a lot of attention in Indianapolis. We did take that convoy downtown to the Capitol after we made 2 laps around 465 around the interstate. Actually, a lap and a half, I think. And then we went into downtown. Yeah. We ended up driving around Monument Circle. Probably got more attention on Monument Circle. Interrupted a wedding. Don't ever forget that. We were literally throwing flyers down on the ground, and people were flocking to pick those flyers up off the ground and read what they were about. Another God story. I drive home an hour or two and from work every day, and 3 or 4 times I'd see this gentleman standing on an overpass by himself, holding a wooden cross and an American flag. Finally, one day I decided I was going to meet this man, and I drove about 5 miles out of my way, went back and met Mike Fox. Mike Fox was the man that was standing in the corner up there holding that cross and that flag when we rolled in here yesterday. Yeah. He's here today. And he isn't. That man is in the military, doesn't mean Tell me God. Okay, sorry, brother. Okay, I apologize for that. Man, tell me that's not God working. And then we were getting ready to go up to approach old Dr. Death up there in Michigan. And we were kind of organizing and planning that convoy up there. And I was setting up a Zelle channel. Actually, I set up this Zelle channel before our convoy in Indianapolis so we could all communicate. Because most of us didn't run CBs. We only had one trucker show up, which, Bob, where you at? He's here somewhere. And his wife. They were the only truckers that came and ran in our convoy in Indianapolis. We had one biker show up, Mike Price, a good friend of mine I've known for many years, showed up by himself and rode that convoy with. There should have been hundreds of bikes there. There should be hundreds of bikes here right now. If they knew, if they just knew what we were about, they would be here. And they're going to be here. That one bike's going to turn into hundreds and thousands eventually. So anyway, we're planning this convoy for Indianapolis and all that. I'm setting up the Zelle channel. I put over 70 people on the Zelle channel in 2 days. We had, what, 500 people to the Facebook page in just a few days. And they're still coming on. So if any of you guys in Indiana here aren't on our Zelle channel, get with me and I'll help you through it, get you on so we can use that. That's what we're going to use to communicate when we're doing our convoys and things. It's a great tool for this movement. So anyway, I get this gentleman that gets a hold of me on Zello, and his call sign is Old Geezer 84. Some of you guys have heard this story. This is God working right here again. And the first message I get from him is his phone number, and he wanted me to call him. So I call him up. He says, my name's Joe. I'm 84 years old. I'm the Old Geezer. He said, my wife, she's pretty much dying of cancer, terminal, 5th stage, whatever, you know. And he said, I would love to be with you guys, but my age and just helping my wife out, I can't be there. But he said, I want to support you guys, and I want to send you a check. And anyone going up to Michigan, if they need anything, fuel or a car breaks down, I want to help you guys with that. And I told him, I said, sir, that's not what we're about. We're not looking for handouts here or anything like that. So I didn't give him my address. I didn't want to put it out on Zello, I guess, whatever. Well, we're all organizing and we're meeting on the east side of Indianapolis. There's 10 of us. You guys are mostly here, I'm sure. We're standing up in this Menards parking lot, joining up to run up to Michigan. And this old man pulls up in his car, gets out walking with a cane. He comes over and looks at me, asks me personally, gets me to the side and shakes my hand and hands me a wad of cash. He said, I want you to take this money and I want you to use it for whatever you guys need going to Michigan. So anyway, said a little prayer and the man left. He gave us $500 cash. And I had a gentleman on the Zello channel that just came back from California. California was running with you guys. You guys probably know him. I'm not going to mention any names here, but he's from Ohio. He said, I just got home from California and I'm broke, but I'd love to go to Michigan, but I just can't do it. Well, I told him, I said, you get your butt to Michigan, I'll give you fuel money. So he got there and got back home. So he's running. And then, I was circling the University of Michigan making all kinds of noise. There's a whole crowd standing on a corner of protesters that are protesting Fauci. They're all standing up for us. A lot of you guys got out and were standing there talking to people, passing out flyers and stuff, I know. But there was a little boy standing on the sidewalk. This is going to make me cry. Little, probably 10-year-old boy or so. And I'm sitting there at the red light, and I look over, and he says, sir, thank you for standing up for my freedom. So, there's a gentleman standing next to him, and I didn't want the little boy to come out in the traffic, so I motioned the guy to come over, and I handed him a $50 bill, and I said, you give that to that little boy, and you tell him to buy his mother something very special for Mother's Day tomorrow. And you know, that boy and his son came to our rally that night, or his dad came to our rally that night. So, all the money out to anybody that needed fuel. So that $500 was spent just on fuel and things like that, and that little boy. And I'm sure that old geezer's heard this story and he's probably pretty happy about that. Man, there's so many stories. Yeah. You know, and I was struggling to get here, trying to figure out how I was going to afford it, all that kind of, just like Hagerstown. I left for Hagerstown with $26 in my pocket to tank fuel. Negative bank account. Wow. You know, when I went to the rally in Monrovia, I went home that night, couldn't sleep. I got up, started throwing clothes in the truck, threw my dog in the truck, and I went back to Monrovia, and I rolled out with you guys I was going to go to the Ohio-Indiana line. That was it. And I didn't have the money to go any further. They were handing out fuel cards. I got a $100 fuel card from somebody from Colorado, of all places, that was in the convoy. I ended up in Hagerstown, stayed a week, come back home, my heart ripped out, Santa got in contact with me, and here we are. It's kind of my story to short. You know, I've been following live streams, but I don't even have a computer or a TV. I owned a TV in 3 years. So I do everything on my phone, so I don't get to follow as much. Man, when you start this, you know how busy you are. Everybody's contacting you, setting up Zelle, doing all that stuff. So I don't have time to follow you guys like I'd like to. But I know what's going on out there. I follow Santa probably more than anything. Man. Met a gentleman just a few minutes ago, Brent. I mentioned him earlier. I know you're here somewhere, Brent. We were just standing there talking, and we had so many connections. Just amazing. He come over to ask if I could weld something for him because he heard I had a welder, which I'm going to do that tonight when it cools off a little bit. But he's had a surgery. He's lost 100% of his hearing in his left ear. I've had almost the same surgery, lost 100% of my hearing in the left ear. So it's like, wow, man, this is God working. I mean, just crazy. Supernatural. Yeah. Can't think of too many more right now. There's a bunch. Oh, I was getting at earlier, is trying to figure out how I was going to get here. I quit my job, I said, at 26 years. I was pretty broke. Well, my last paycheck should have been 1 week check. For some reason, the owner of the company gave me $3,000 for my last check. That got me here. I want to say a prayer real quick, and then I'd like to get Santa up here to talk. I'd like to get Truck G up here to talk. Get you up here to talk. Anybody, any of you drivers want to get up here and say something, we'd love to hear from you guys. Love to hear from you guys. Anybody else in our Indiana group that wants to get up here and say a few things? We got time? Yeah. What time is it? We got a little over a half hour for the band wants to start at 1. Got to get up here and say a few things. But real quick, I want to say a real quick prayer if I can tonight. Yeah, bring it. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today, and we ask you for protection for every single person in this convoy and in this building. We ask you to open the hearts and the minds of the American people to see what we're truly all about and what we're looking to do. We need your help, Lord, to save this country. You know the mess we're in. You can help us. It's all in your hands, Father. We just ask, like I said, you open the hearts and the minds of these people, all these naysayers out there that think we're a cult or whatever. Show them the truth, Father, through us. Give us the wisdom and the knowledge to speak from our heart to every person we come in contact with every day. To spread the word about the People's Convoy and help us get to D.C. because we got to rid that city and this country of the evil that is taking over this country and has taken over this country. We've got to take care of it. We're fighting an evil battle here, God. You know it. And we're going to help solve it. Thank you, Lord, in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
How you doing, guys? Let me introduce myself. I'm Trucker G. And I am part of the problem. That's right, you heard me right. I am part of the problem. You know, we got a lot of people out on the internet, they're going to love that soundbite. Let me explain that. I drove truck for over 30 years. And all I ever did is just drive truck, drive all day long. At the end of the day, I'd eat supper, and I'd go to bed. I didn't even go to sit down in the restaurants like a lot of the old veteran truck drivers so they could tell trucker stories. Why? Because I drove truck all day. I didn't want to hear about trucking. I was ready to go to bed. That way I could wake up super early in the morning and do it all over again. That way my family was fed. That way I had a roof over my family's shoulder or heads. That way I had food on my family's tables. I didn't pay attention to what was going on. I didn't think I had to. I was young. I was dumb. I didn't think I had to worry about what was going on in our government. I trusted that they'd do what was right for us. Because that's the way it's supposed to be. That doesn't educate. Your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the current news and regulated press. You pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver or of gold. You trade your wealth for paper so your life can be controlled. You pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame, taking Satan's number, artillery, and guns to foreign shores, and send your sons to slaughter, fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedom for which we fought and died? Do you have the courage and the faith to stand with pride? We are not free, and we have ourselves to blame. For even the trucks are there. I don't care how many trucks. I care how many people. How many people are in this crowd? I don't care how many people is in this crowd. I want to know why you're not in this crowd. Amen. That's what I need to see. I know there's a lot of people that can't be here for multiple reasons. Mostly the ones that I accept is because I'm just not capable. Guess what? I ain't got no money either. My family needs me. Guess what? My family needs me too. Does your family need you? Yes. I know this is going to hurt a lot of feelings, but I don't care at this point, guys. I just don't care. You can hate me, you can love me. This isn't the country he fought for. This isn't what he fought for. This isn't what so many men and women have given their lives for. And we're allowing it to happen. We are allowing it to happen. Because we are the solution. Wake up, America. Love it or leave it. It's pretty simple. If we wait and we sit there and watch and monitor it, by the time it happens, it's too late. Have we not noticed that already? Like I said, usually what I say isn't too popular, but I just speak from the heart. And what do I know? I'm just Dumbo Hillbilly.
Trucker G, let's hear it some more for Trucker G! Alright, now we want to bring up my buddy. I met this man at a church. He's a man of God. So David Rodell, Santa!
Problem. As far as it goes, we got some special people with. I want to let them have a little bit of time here. Jason is 9 years old. He spoke the other night in Iowa, and I said, "You got to speak again." Can you see him? All right, Jason, everybody.
Thank you all for being here. For all of you all to fight for your freedom. It makes me happy to see you all. And our soldiers have died for us to fight for that flag and our freedom. God made us to be free. So we gotta stand up, hand out those flyers, hand out those cards. Bunch of people for freedom. Say kids, daughters, granddaughters, grandsons, sons. It's just beautiful. For freedom, for our rights to stand up and speak. It's freedom. We've got to fight for it. We all bleed red. Could I get a chant real quick? Freedom! 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 Freedom!
The story of a driver that joined us, I believe it was in Arkansas, as was coming through there. A true inspiration. It was a day that I was feeling kind of blue. I was missing my family, and I really just wanted to see my family. I thought maybe I could go home and see my family. And then I heard this guy's story over the CB radio as we passed by. I want you guys to meet Brian. He's a true inspiration to the Convoy.
I said for years that I started out talking and saying my name is Bryant and I'm an alcoholic. I haven't been saying that much lately, but my name is still Bryant. I drove truck for around 30 years. Last year, at 78 years old, I was still driving full-time the first part of the year. And I had to take some time off because my truck was being worked on and my heart started acting up. And it came to the point where I was falling and fainting. My daughter called 911, they rushed me to the hospital. I spent 12 days in the hospital and they came up with about 3 things they thought were bad with my heart, scheduled surgeries, 3 different surgeries. And then they found out that my lung was giving up and swelling shut on me and not allowing enough air to go out or breathe, whatever that does. And they determined they couldn't do the surgeries on my heart because that would cause the lung to quit altogether. So they released me, which I couldn't figure out or understand because I was worse off than I was when I went in. as time went by, I kept getting worse. I ended up on hospice. They were bathing me, doing everything for me. I had about 3 or 4 days of feeling better. My daughter asked me if I wanted to take a ride up to Branson, Missouri, where we had gone a lot with the kids when they were young. And I told her, yeah, that I did. So Christmas Day, this past Christmas, we went to Branson. And the next day we went out to go to one of the shows. I felt good. I was able to get around myself in my walker. They escorted me to my chair. I turned to my daughter and told her I felt like I was going to faint. And what I did was died. I don't know exactly how long. They showed me the charts later on. The ambulance came. They made 3 attempts to survive me and it didn't work. They started removing the equipment from me, and one of the attendants said, I feel like we should try one more time. And that brought me back. They brought me to the hospital. A couple hours later, after in the hospital, my heart quit again. I don't remember how long. They revived me again the same way. They gave up on it and decided to try one more time. When I started doing better in that day, that same day, the doctor came and showed me the chart where my heart had quit those 2 times. And he said, we have 2 choices, and you're the one that's going to have to make it. He said, we can readmit you to the hospital and put you all through those tests again, or we can send you home. And in either case, you're going to be dead in 3 days. And he said, the 3rd time we will not be able to revive you. And so I was already mad that they had revived me, because all that time I was getting sicker and sicker. I wanted to die. And I told a few people that the only way that I wanted any type of healing at all was if I could get healed well enough to go out and get in my truck and drive around the country. When the doctor, he finally told me, he said, possibly 3 weeks, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be dead in 3 days. So I told him I wanted to go home. And during a lot of this illness, while Canada protest was going on, I was watching that. And then I started watching this protest, or Convoy, People's Convoy. And I was very glad when they decided to call the People's Convoy rather than the Truckers Convoy, because I think it's involved a lot more people. Anyway, through the whole process, I ended up getting better. Hospice came to the house and said that if I wasn't going to die, they were going to have to release me. And she said, but you've got my phone number, so if you change your mind again, give me a call. I continued to get better. Mike in Maryland made this announcement that they were going to go back to California. I told my kids I'd love to go with them. A friend of ours for years had kept telling me every time I talked about dying and wanting to die that you're not going to die, Brian. God's got more for you to do. And I thought she was crazy. I didn't believe it. On the night when I finally left my home near Tulsa and headed for Weatherford, Texas to meet the convoy, on the way down there I thought, well, maybe Pat was right. I did have something else for me to do. And I thought that what God wanted me to do was be one more truck and one more driver to join the convoy. and that was it. Well, when I got the Weatherford a little before the convoy did, I was standing around, and one of the truckers, Wild Bill, I think he's not with us anymore, he had to go to work. He came and we visited, shared, asked about each other's lives and stuff, and I shared part of my story with him. We went to bed. The next day, the next afternoon, we got on the road, and different people started coming up to me and said, "Are you the guy that was on hospice? Are you the guy that died?" What in the world's going on here? Come to find out, I guess he had shared it on the CV. Sometime later, I think it was in Banning, Mike asked me to share my testimony on the trailer, and I did. Santa had asked me to share my testimony in his truck, and I did. And boy, the next thing I knew, every time I got out of my truck, wherever we stopped, somebody was coming up to me and calling me by name and then saying they had watched my story, how much it had affected their lives. And I was amazed at how many of them were basically going through the same things I was. Just miserable, tired of living, sitting on their couches and wanting to die. And how that my story had impacted their lives and what they were now thinking, and they were encouraged. And it's got to have been thousands of people that have said that to me. Just the streamers, a lot of them have said how people are asking about me. And I'm just saying that because I would like to say this quick prayer now before I leave. I really believe the first time ever, I never really wanted friends or had a lot of friends before. This has totally changed my life. Father, I'd like to come to you in prayer and make a request. Father, so many people, as you know, around the world have seemed to have been impacted some way by my story. I'm grateful and thankful for it, and I hope that I can continue to do that. But Lord, what I would like to ask you to do now is every person that you have pricked their hearts with my story and you have given them encouragement. Lord, I would ask you to prick their hearts one more time, every one of them, and encourage them to do more for what we are fighting for, Lord. That you would encourage them to learn of the bad things that are happening in our government. That you would encourage them to join with us in some way, whether it be donations or hopefully, Lord, I would like to see thousands of them in Washington when we get there. And Lord, I just ask you to touch the hearts in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Listen to Convoy, I've really grown to love Brian. He's a good man. Appreciate him so much. I've got 6 minutes. Many of you know that 6 minutes is not long enough for me. So this will be quick. When our founding fathers, those brave patriots, their late 1700s, decided that we needed to be free from the tyranny of a crazy king, a king that was literally so messed up with venereal diseases, his brain didn't work right. They tried their best to negotiate with him for a number of years and were completely and totally unsuccessful because you just cannot reason with unreasonable people. It was the pastors that the British named the Black Robe Regiment who formed the first militias that would stand against that tyranny. We are in 1776 all over again, folks. We have people that are unreasonable. And if you don't believe they're unreasonable, then just look at what they're doing. I got a little too excited the other day, called out the governor of Oregon. I would like to apologize to him, but I will not. When you're that sick and you're that twisted, someone needs to call you out. This government, we, as Trucker G said, we have allowed this government to become so sick and twisted that we sit back and go, what in the world is going on? I'll tell you what in the world is going on. We are the ones sitting back letting this happen. And all of my pastors out there, I want you to begin to form your own black robe regiments. There you go. They call them black robe regiments because they wore the black robe when they preached. You need to start getting your congregations together, and you need to meet with us in Washington, D.C., because we need righteous leadership. We need holy men of God and women of God to stand against this unholy lot that now fills our government seats. It will never, ever work. You cannot fight evil with evil. You must battle evil with good. And if they're going to come out and preach their doctrine, then we've got to come out and preach our doctrine even louder. I'm watching the clock. Here's the deal. All it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to stand by and do nothing. Aren't you tired of doing nothing? It's time you start to do something. What I'm calling for is you together with your church people. I don't care what kind of church you belong to or what kind of synagogue you belong to or whatever else you may belong to. Join together with people that believe like you. Begin to pray for our country and the success of this mission. Because if we are not successful, we will lose our nation. We must stand up now. You can wait until it tips and then it's too late. We are quickly arriving at that tipping point. What are we wanting to happen? We want our government back. When I say that, Sasnak and I were talking last night, and he made it so clear. Sasnak, I'm going to steal this from you if you don't mind. He said, when you talk about overthrowing the government, he said, you're not talking about it. No, we're not talking about, we got a great government system. We've just allowed them to corrupt it so bad that it no longer works. The problem is the people that are there running that system. They've run it into the ground. And that is what I want to see changed. We need good, godly men and women, people who have principles, who have values, and that love this country to fill those seats. And this is an honest truth. You can see this everywhere you go. People who crave power should not have power. We need you guys to start standing up and saying, I want to run this country in a better, I can run this better than them. People who say I want power, they should automatically be stricken from the books. You guys need to start standing up and saying I can run this country better than they can. Let me just tell this real quick. I've got a minute and a half left. I had DC Metro reach out to me yesterday, and I appreciate that. I told the detective that I was talking to, I said, make no mistake, sir. We are coming into Washington, D.C. downtown. I will not blow smoke. And I said, let me also explain to you, we have absolutely no problem with our law enforcement. We love them, we respect them, and we support them. But we do, sir, have a huge problem with our government officials. And that's why we're coming. He asked me, he said, you know we got a permit process. Would you be interested if I could help you get a permit to protest? I said, depends on the permit. I began to drive further and pray about that. offered. And I texted him this morning and very politely and very kindly said, sir, I'm sick and tired of asking the government if I can exercise my individual liberty.
Alright, y'all, sorry about the buffering issues there. We're going to get you outside where we're hopefully have a little better service. Oh, Ronald, thank you.
Folks, if anybody needs flyers, we have lots of flyers.
Your mom hasn't talked.
Please come and take flyers. Everybody is going.
Take my snack bag.
I'll make sure the piglets get their snacks.
All right, well, thank you. There's a crowd.
First time you guys went through, I was in goosebumps. Time for this meeting.
Hey.
Larry, good to meet you.
Good to meet
Following
you.
Along on, all the way.
Oh, thank you. It's been a little bit of a wild ride at times. Yeah.
How you doing, Tom? Following you too? Thank you.
Yes.
I let him film the rallies. He's a lot better at it than I am.
Oh, I don't do nothing. I just set this thing up, you know.
Set it up and sit in the chair.
Oh, I didn't sit in a chair today. It was too hot in that building. I was out here in the shade.
Hi, I saw you eating candy. Hi. Good seeing you again. Appreciate all you guys are doing.
Yeah, how you been?
A couple times just flew through that building.
Oh, yeah. It was kicking up in
You
there.
guys keep that convoy safe, man. That must be, you guys are probably used to traveling by yourself or a couple other guys. You got all that.
Yeah. I don't know. Us three up in the front there, we're getting kind of used to running together, though.
And then, you know, we got 4, 5, 6, 7. We pull out. We're all in a row. Nobody's trying to fight. We know where we go.
Yep.
You know, get used to the guy, how he drives in front of you. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Fortunately, you haven't had to make any sudden movement.
Not so far, at
I know
least.
it's a pain in the butt. Get that rubber band effect on it. Sneaky effect, rubber band. I remember being one of the last trucks in line on our way to Hagerstown, and it's a pain in the butt. My knees were killing me at the end of the day, all these on and off the accelerator. Yep. So it's you guys know what all right.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was.
About you, but G and Santa.
Yeah, they have to go last because you can't follow that.
No.
They have to go last.
G opened my eyes and Santa pissed me off. Let's go fight.
Yeah. That's a dangerous combo right there. Get you upset and then get you angry.
No. What was that? The rebellion? How did he word it? I can't remember now.
Oh, the guy, I can't remember how he said it either.
I appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Want me to run this over to Mrs.?
Yeah, if you don't mind taking that too.
I gotta go over that way.
All right, I'll be over here mingling. All right, sounds good. Well, thank you for doing the trip. It should be unlocked. Just throw it in the front seat. Pretty good. Yourself?
All right.
Got a whole fistful of them flyers, I see.
I'm gonna take them back home.
Yeah, let them at the laundromat, the grocery store, you know, wherever you go.
That's what you gotta do, you know, it's like advertise, you know, it's like a lot of people don't know and a lot of don't care, you know.
Yep. And then the ones that know don't care to know, and yeah, you know how it goes.
Yep. Used to have a lot of friends at the house until this all started, you know, and they're like, I got better things to do. It's like, how long? You know what I mean? It's like, people need to pay attention to what's going on.
Oh, they do.
So how long you guys gonna be here? You leaving tomorrow?
Yeah, we're pulling out early tomorrow morning, probably before sunup is what I'm hearing.
What, you know what the next stop's gonna be?
I think it's one of the Ohio stops. I'm not sure. Things are still a little flexible at the moment. I know the one rally canceled, so now we have a different one or something.
That's been since you started. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
That just happens, you know, like.
Yeah, we try to put a schedule out and then things change, you know. But hey, we know our final destination. That's all that matters.
Yeah, yep.
The stops in between are awesome. I enjoy them, but
But the main business is right there, man. It's like,
but I mean, this is great having all these people out and everything.
I thought we'd have more Hoosiers out here, though. What's up?
Oh, I mean, this is a crowd, though.
Yeah, it's a pretty big crowd.
I mean,
a lot of people had to work today too. You know.
Yeah.
The mobile home RV industry. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I keep looking for the carnival rides or something. The food trucks rolled in. You know, we got the fire company here. No, not the real one, but the fire truck. All we need now is a couple carnival rides, and this looks like a fun time.
There you go. Attractions.
Yeah.
You know, something lure them in. You know. weather's getting nice, so hopefully start getting car guys in, motorcycle guys in, you know.
Yeah, I keep hearing that the normal motorcycle rally's coming up here over Memorial Day in D.C. or something like that.
Oh, really?
It'd be awesome if those guys hung around for a while.
Yeah, that's really rather large.
Yeah. Oh, tomorrow's stop is Burbank, the chat just reminded me.
Is what?
Tomorrow's stop is Burbank, the chat saying.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people that are coming from here, heading to the next stop, and then heading home because they're so close together.
Yeah,
you might as well hit two of them.
I just hit the interstate.
Yep.
Straight down. Crazy. Well, at least it ain't too hot today.
No, not as bad as yesterday. I mean, in there.
Before that was really humid here too.
Yeah, in there in the metal building, it was hot, and their cell phone service was terrible. So I kept coming back out here.
Yeah, it's kicking off now.
Oh yeah, let it whip. I mean, it feels good with that wind blowing.
Good old Indiana weather.
Yeah.
Never know what you gotta get.
Well, yeah, they kept calling for rain. I don't know. It don't look like it. I mean, maybe a sprinkle. I see a little darkness in those clouds over that way, but
it usually goes around us. You know what I mean?
That's what someone else was telling me last night. There's a weird weather pattern in this area. It's like it just everyone else will get snow and you guys won't get it, or
it's like heading right for us. So most of the time it'll divide, you know, split divide, go around us, and we'll get a little bit. When we get it, we get it.
Yep. Oh yeah. And yeah, Broken Patriot, I agree. Like I keep saying, I don't think we're going to need a lot of fuel this time. So all y'all afraid of the fuel shortages, I think we'll be all right.
I heard about that, you know.
Yeah.
I wonder why we're having a fuel shortage east.
Yeah. But then again, and like I said, I don't think we're that concerned about it this time. It's been pretty clear what the game plan's going to be. It's an open secret. Yeah. That's the way to do a live stream.
Yeah, it is.
Just ride around on some wheels there.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. I'd love
Whose is this?
I have no idea, but I'd love to hear it fired up and see what she's got.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was talking to him a little bit yesterday. He said 90 grand to put this thing together. Yeah. Yeah, it's fully street legal. Yeah. From car tires or truck tires technically to, you know, everything's enclosed.
Put a set of them on there, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought was interesting. He even closed the drivetrain and everything.
Oh, yeah. Centrifugal belt driven.
Yeah.
Look at them shocks.
Oh, yeah.
Things are
Those shocks are bigger than some
4
I've seen
foot
on
tall.
pickups.
Yeah. Those things are 4 foot tall. Same on the front.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I couldn't imagine spending 90 grand on that.
There's some that are a little more stubborn.
Yeah, got winches on both ends. I mean, heck.
Storage box.
Yeah.
I love that. What is that? Probably a wrap?
Oh, yeah, that's a wrap.
Yeah. It's a wrap.
Yeah, because he says he's having everyone sign it and then he's going to clear coat it.
Oh, really? Nope.
Yeah.
Did you sign it yet?
Not yet. Yeah, apparently he drove it from out this way somewhere to D.C. He did some D.C. laps with us, and now he's back.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was telling me it's the only side-by-side to drive from like the Midwest to D.C. on public roads.
I bet. Legally, anyways. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man, it's plated motorcycle, too.
Is it plated as a motorcycle? Oh, yeah, it was a little tiny motorcycle plate up behind the flags.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got AC, though. 4x4... Nah, don't look like it. I think he's roughing it there.
It's open window.
Well, no, it's got a... windows.
tilts up and
Yeah.
open it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
like the old Volkswagen.
Yeah, because you were saying that Windows impact rated and the windshield wipers and everything work.
Wow.
See what's on there.
That's a really nice setup. Really nice setup.
Yeah.
Light more.
Right. But see, I can send an alert to everybody. I can hit one button and send an alert to everybody.
Well, guys, I was going to walk in and show you the band, and I forgot this building don't like me. So let's try some. Let's see if I can sneak in the backside. Yeah, a big metal building just tears up the cell service.
The one that talked a couple times.
Yeah, well, he said he's going with us.
Yeah.
But there's a back door to this band. So let's see what cell service is like over here by the other door. The Convoy t-shirts, or I don't know if the lady that sells them is here or not. She has a white SUV. You can't miss it if she has them because they'll be hanging all over the SUV.
I haven't seen any. I was hoping to get one when I was here, but
Yeah, I mean, hopefully she's around somewhere because I've had a lot of people ask about them. But yeah, they're the black ones with the blue writing on them that you've seen around. Usually I can always look around and find one.
well, I'll go look around, see if I
Turn the vocals up a little bit. What do y'all think? The band sounds okay. The vocals are a little low.
Alright, we'll turn it up loud.
That's what I was saying too. The vocals are terrible. Other than that, they sound all right.
So we don't have that. We always like to start a little bit late. If we were fully got, we had to raise it a little bit. Thank you for that. We pay her well.
You have a lot of room to talk.
You gotta look sexy for you all.
Yeah, I think it's still Memorial Day weekend. It'd be nice if we're there and they roll in. What are we working with on this food truck, by the way? See if I can get you all a shot of this menu without getting in line. Oh yeah, we can do this. What do y'all think of that menu? What do we got? Angus burger, bacon cheeseburger, a pork burger, oh no. Barbecue pulled pork, beef hot dog, chili dog, fries, cheese fries, chili cheese fries, and nachos supreme. Yeah. Not a terrible little menu for a food truck.
Long time.
Yeah, by the way, they oh yeah, I'll look at the song then. And it looks like they turned the vocals up. Anyway, y'all, I am going to start a new stream here quick before I get this taken down because of the ban, because YouTube don't understand it's live music. So I'm going to kick this one down, bring another one right back up, and I'll be back with you in just a minute.